So this is the spot I've chose to camp. It's got fantastic views looking over the city of Sheffield. I have camped here a few times before. One of my favourite spots. Anyway, you might be surprised to know I've not brought my Zulu tent with me. I was so impressed by my Field and Trek Trailmaker, my 40-year-old tent, that I've decided to bring that instead. I like the room and the size of the big porch for cooking in. So I'm going to get the tent pitched and I'll show you around again. Fantastic view. So, finally got it pitched. This is my Field and Trek Trailmaker tent. It's 40 years old nearly. It was my first proper backpacking tent, but such a great design. You can see it's based on a sloping ridge which goes into the wind, and that tapers up to an A-frame, so it gives you a load of space, gives you a massive porch, which I like to cook in, but you've still got quite a big sleeping area. So even though it's 40 years old, for me it's an ideal design. Gonna get all my gear set up in it now. I'll come back to you in a little bit. Right, finally got all my gear in. I seem to have brought an awful lot, but the main theme, or one of the main themes of this camp, is cooking, and we're going to cook a nice French meal. Forget the horrible January weather out there. I'm going to shut this tent up and we're going to France. We're going to be in France tonight. Forget the rain and the wind and everything else outside, and we're going to have a nice French meal. That is the main reason I brought this old tent. You probably saw it when I did my wild camp back in time, and I used all my old camping gear. I hadn't used this tent for 20 years, and I used it and it made me realise what a fantastic tent it is with this great big porch. So you can basically shut yourself off in any old weather. You could have 2 stoves going in here and you could prepare and cook any meal you wanted. So I thought, yep, I'm going to take that tent out again. It will be ideal for cooking in. So that is the main theme of this wild camp. And later on tonight, when everything's quietened down, all the cooking's done, I'll go through my plans for 2020. No big changes, I'm going to do the same things. It's just sort of put you in the picture, give you a heads up what to expect over the next few months and the rest of the year. We've lost the daylight, so obviously we'll be cooking in the dark again. But I've got a headlamp and a tent light, so hopefully be able to illuminate it okay. So I'll go through tonight's menu. For starters, where are they? So these are tiger prawns, like giant prawns, gone fresh from the fishmonger today. They're like, they're not as big as a langoustine, but they are like those great big prawns you get when you're on holiday. You get about 4 and they charge you €10. Well, I've got 10 there, and I'm going to cook those in white wine and garlic. They should be beautiful. And obviously, to go with them, where's it gone? Oh yeah, bit of French stick. So we've got a small French steak, so some bread with those tiger prawns should be very nice. So obviously, to cook the, let's get my glass. To cook these prawns, I'm going to be using, I've got some garlic, I'm going to put that in the pan, and we've got a nice bottle of French wine here. We need this to cook the prawns in. That's the main reason I've brought it. Obviously, I only need a glass, and there'll be about 4 glasses left, and I shall be having to drink those because I'm not carrying the wine back with me. What is it? Les Dauphines Côte de Rhône, so it should be a nice wine. We better sample it, which I already have. That's why half the bottle's gone. Hopefully there will be some left to cook the prawns in later on. We haven't got much level ground around here. Very nice, perhaps a little over chilled with the 4 degrees temperature outside, but still very nice. So yes, so that's the starter. Main course now. So what we got here? Now I was going to do swordfish, but I couldn't find any. So we've got some tuna steaks instead. They came out of the freezer this morning and they're still frozen, so I'm going to leave them out. To go with those, that's they're like a little potato. I wouldn't say they're specifically French, but I couldn't think of anything else to go with them. So they're like a little frozen square potato, so they'll be going in the frying pan. And obviously you've got to have your vegetables, so they're Mediterranean roasted vegetables, again out the freezer, and they're going straight in the frying pan. So that should hopefully provide my main meal. That'll be later on. So all that's left is then we need a sweet. Well, you can't get more French than creme brulee. They should finish the meal off lovely. Obviously I only needed one, but they only came in a pack of 2, so I shall have to eat both of them. But it's just one of those things. They do have like a little bit of brown sugar and you're supposed to glaze it under the grill. We'll have a go with the stove. I don't know if it will work or not. But yeah, so that should finish that off. So, I'm going to carry on, have the odd glass of wine. I'll certainly save some for the prawns. So I'll come back to you in a little bit and we'll make a start cooking the prawns. See you in a little bit. So, just making a start cooking the prawns. In here, I've got water, 2 cloves of garlic, which I've tried to crush, and a glass of my valuable wine. So, I'm slowly bringing that up to the boil. Well, that's come up to boil now, so I'm going to drop the prawns in. They take about 5 minutes to cook. They are sort of like a grey colour, and then they should go pink. So that's them. So they look nice. So we drop all these in. They're actually got quite a bit of meat on them. So it's now a matter of bringing them back up to boil. I did have a rubbish bag somewhere. It's, so we'll just bring those back up to boil. I've got all my rubbish together there. Luckily, it's not bear country, because I reckon we'd have every bear within a few miles once they can smell this lot. Luckily, Sheffield doesn't have bears, so I should be alright. We're handling the raw food. I have brought this hand sanitizer, so I can make sure my hands are clean and that. Well, I think we can say these are done now. I'm going to turn the heat off. They've had a good 4 or 5 minutes, so I'm going to take half of them out, just eat half of them and leave the others in the warm water. Wow, they're quite hot. So they go pink when they're cooked. So my hands are clean. So it's just a matter of pulling the head off. And then peeling the body off. If you take about three rings of the body's sort of skin protection off, and then they usually just pull out. Take that off. There. And that is it, a beautiful prawn. That tastes so nice, you can taste the garlic. I mean, they are so easy to cook. You just boil them. I mean, you can saute them, which I think is another term for frying. You can saute them, but I worked on the fight, they'd be covered in oil, and I didn't fancy having my hands covered in oil and garlic butter through the knife. But they are lovely. So I'm gonna get rid of this lot, and then we'll eat the other 5. I think I had 12 altogether, so there should be about 6 left in there. We'll finish those off, I think. So I think we'll just finish these last few prawns off. Certainly very tasty and very filling. So we're going to make a start with the main course. So frustrating. Got this little bottle of oil. I could not find it. I've spent about 15 minutes searching this tent. Found it down here. But it's so awkward to try and keep everything at hand. So I'm just going to bang everything in here. I'm going to put the tuna into it. Yeah, I'm going to put the tuna in first. It is slightly frozen, so it might take a little bit longer. work of this. So that's the 2 tuna steaks in. Seem to be getting covered in everything. There's my rubbish bag. I'm now going to put some of these potatoes and the vegetables in. Might not eat all these potatoes. So these stir fry, well they're not stir fry, they're like a Mediterranean vegetable. There's courgette, little tomatoes, red onion and normal onion. So once that's all cooked it should make a nice meal. Herbs, I should have brought some herbs de Provence and I forgot. I should have brought some herbs. Can't remember everything. I'm afraid not much wine left. Should just last the end of the meal. Oh dear, that's the last of it. Perhaps I shouldn't have used so much with those prawns. Or next time, might have to bring a little bit more. Yep, I'd say the tuna's cooked through. Now normally at this time of year it'd be freezing cold and I'd eat it straight out the frying pan. But I thought, I brought the plate to eat the prawns on, we might as well serve it on there. So we got 2 bits of tuna, which I can see is cooked through. One's broken up already. And then Mediterranean vegetables, oops, with these little potatoes, made it quite a nice meal. So we'll just sweep it straight out. We'll do the clearing up in a bit. I thought I'd brought a fork, but it would appear not. So that's your tuna. Very meaty. They say tuna is a fish. Fresh tuna always tastes very like a meat. That's the potatoes they're cooked through. So yeah, everything appears to be cooked. It's very nice. Well, I'm going to finish this off, and then I've got the unenviable task of washing everything up. Luckily, it's dry out there, so it shouldn't be a problem. I'll get everything washed up, get settled in for the night, and we'll have a look at what's planned for 2020. I'll fill you in on my plans of what videos I'm going to do in this coming year. See you in a little bit. Look at that, beautiful. That tuna is cooked perfectly. I'm going to enjoy this. Now, down to more important things. My plans for new videos in 2020. Well, there'll always be wild camping. That's how my channel started out, and I will always go wild camping. I don't tend to venture far. I'm always in the Peak District. I might go up onto Kinder or Bleaklow, but quite often I don't venture more than about 2 or 3 miles from my house. But I'm always finding new places to camp. Every video I tend to do, I try and find somewhere new to camp. I've got my drone now, so that adds a new dimension, and I have started going back to a couple of my old campsites because I can use the drone, and it gives a new view of the campsite. So yeah, there'll always be wild camping, sometimes with a tent, sometimes bivvying, when the weather gets better. Another type of video I enjoy doing is underground exploration. Whether it's a drain or a railway tunnel, I enjoy. To me, they're amazing places. Built in the Victorian times, very few people go in them, and they are so amazing. You could have it where the weather is awful, it's pouring down, it's windy, you wouldn't normally go out. You get yourself in an old railway tunnel, it's yours for the day, and you can spend the whole day whether photographing or filming. Such a great day you could have, and you're comfortable as well. I have explored most of the underground drains or railway tunnels near where I live in Sheffield, so I have got to start venturing further afield and finding new places. But the interesting part is the research, so you learn about these places, learn the location, the history, then go and do a recce on the place, and then finally do the explore. So I'm sure we'll find a couple of those to do in the coming year. Now, another thing I enjoy doing is rail travel. Now, I haven't done a rail trip since March 2018. That was to the south of France. Basically, due to my thyroid problem, etc., I haven't had any travel insurance. So it was only last week, I thought, yep, time to get some travel insurance. I rang up, I got a full year's insurance for me and my wife with the problems I've had. £99. I thought, no problem. I thought it were going to be hundreds of pounds. It were £99. It wasn't a lot more than I paid a couple of years ago. So now I've got travel insurance. So yeah, Europe, here we come. I was planning, I like planning, I was planning to do perhaps a couple of rail trips round the south of France, across to the Atlantic coast. So I've been researching those. But while it was difficult. I wanted to fly out, do the rail trip, fly back. But trying to coordinate it at this time of the year, there wasn't so many flights. But I did find some dirt cheap flights. You could fly somewhere and back for 40 quid. So, I reckon in the next few months I could end up anywhere in Europe. And probably later on I will then do a couple of rail journeys as well. But yeah, I've been doing a bit of research, and these cheap flights, they look very inviting. And also later on to tie it in with perhaps a rail. I'd like to travel right across the south of France from, say, I know, Italy, right to Marseille. I'd like to travel from Marseille over to Biarritz. Interesting journeys. Only out for, say, a couple of days. Fly down, do the rail journey, fly back. But like I say, I did find these cheap flights to various places in Europe. So I think we will be visiting Europe a few times. What else have done? Tree camping. Now that is a different form of camping. I did some videos last year on tree climbing equipment and techniques. Basically the gear that you need and how you use it to get up into the tree safely. I ran out of time for a tree camp, but this year I'm hoping to definitely get back up in the canopy, do a couple of tree camps, something like that. Probably May, June onwards. I'm waiting for the leaves to get onto the trees and for the weather to warm up so I can pick a nice dry and warm day to go. So yeah, there is going to be a lot happening next year. This year I'm really looking forward to it, and I've got loads of ideas. So I reckon it's going to be a great year. And I thank you all for watching my videos and for your comments. I always will appreciate that. I'm just going to leave you with the view I've got looking straight out of my tent door over the city of Sheffield. I'll leave you with that view, and I'll see you in the morning. Night then. Well, that's my view from inside my tent, looking out over the city of Sheffield. You can see the lights of the city centre, and even the moon's popped up to see us. It probably would be a good night to go out and do a bit of night photography and get some good photographs of the tent and the city centre. But it ain't that nice out there. It's all wet, it's quite cold, I'm tired. So I think all I'm going to do, I'm going to snuggle down in my sleeping bag, probably get my radio on, listen to a bit of music and wait for myself to fall asleep. But such a great location and a great view and a great meal as well. Here's to further adventures in France. So I'll say night, good night, and I'll see you in the morning. Night then. Good morning there. Not a bad night. Quite warm really. Brought all my winter camping gear. Thinking I'd need it. It is January, and I was so warm in the night I had to keep shedding clothing. It was very warm. I think the outside temperature was probably around 4 degrees, something like that, but it just felt very warm. I suppose it's winter, but we're not having winter weather. It's just in between really. But yeah, not a bad night. Tent flapped about in the wind. It got a bit windy later on, but not too bad. I wouldn't say I slept fantastic, I felt like I kept waking up. But you have to think, you're in the tent 4 o'clock in the afternoon through till I think it's around 8 o'clock-ish now. So that's 16 hours, that's a long time. So I only sleep about 6 hours when I'm at home, so I probably have had my 6 hours sleep, but spread out over a long period. I'm just having a bit of breakfast, bit of porridge. What I did for the porridge, I kind of warmed some water up, put the milk powder in and brought that up to the boil, and then I dumped the porridge in and I just left it. I put a little bit of heat on it, but not much. I am bothered I could burn it on the titanium. So I left it about 10 minutes and it's worked out fine. And then obviously just a cup of coffee and that'll do me. My car, it's only parked half an hour away down at Ringing Low, so I've not got far to go. Like I said, I like using this tent. One, it's my old tent and I like it. The other thing is this big porch. Great for cooking in. You can just shut yourself in, and inside the tent there is a lot more room than my Sulu. You can sleep down one side, and we all have bits, mobile phones, radios, there's everything. There's plenty of room for everything. There is a bit of extra weight to carry. I think my Sulu's 4.5. This is probably 6.5, something like that. Got quite a few pegs as well. I think I brought about 14 or 16 pegs, so it does have, it's probably getting on for £7 because I did bring some alt kit pegs, so I brought heavier pegs with it. The ground didn't always so firm, but it's nice to use different tents on different occasions. If I'm up on Kinder or Bleaklow or the weather is more severe, yeah, definitely me Sulu. But for short little trips, not far from home, this is ideal. I just feel I've got more room in it and the space for cooking. So I'm going to get everything packed up. I've got half of it packed already. I find once you wake up, yeah, it's a bit cool. Try getting your winter bag into its stuff sack. All your other gear pushed into little stuff sacks. The energy you exert, it soon warms you up. So I've partially packed my gear, finished my breakfast, and then I'm going to drop the tent, pack everything up, and I'll come back to you then when I've got everything packed up. See you in a little bit. Well, that's all my gear packed away. You'd have thought after eating all that food it would feel a bit lighter, the rucksack. It doesn't. I think my tent is sopping wet. It was really hard work packing it away, so there's probably a couple of pound in water. It's going to take a bit of drying out that, but I do put a lot of effort and care into making sure the tents are looked after. That's probably why that has lasted long. That's why it's 40 years old. I'll basically wipe it down when I get home, get any dirt off it, and then I hang it in the garage at least a couple of days, because sometimes the guy ropes take ages to dry out. And then when I'm more or less certain it's dry, I might put it inside the house but not packed up for another day, and then I know it's perfectly dry and it can be safely packed away then, and it pays dividends in the future. So I think we had the best of the weather. It's turned very overcast and misty, and I could imagine it raining. I've not got far to go, only half an hour down to my car. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon on another video. Who knows where? We'll have to see. Bye then.